as a QuickBooks, manager. She does computer work. She does some other stuff like selling CBD oil, and she probably makes, I don't know, anywhere from $1,200 to $1,000 a week. She asked me to exit the bedroom, sleep downstairs. I asked her, "Can we make love? Can we hug? Can we kiss?" And basically, the answer was no. I don't look at you that way anymore.
So, about how long ago did you feel like you were starting to struggle? I mean, not totally losing your businesses, but when did you just feel like you were starting to have a struggle where you were suffering from your loss of income?
Well, basically, I would say maybe I'm married for 15 years, maybe 8 years ago. I would go back to my wife. I would cash out an IRA, maybe some other vehicle of investment, and I would do whatever I can to make my wife happy. When I literally ran out of money, my wife went to work. She lost interest in me, and she looked at me in a different way.
Okay, I just have to go on the record that I remember going over your house in 2010. That would be about 8, 9 years ago. So around the time you were struggling, give or take. And I remember you commenting to me that your wife was not giving it up like the way she used to give it up. Let's just say that. She was not performing her relation duty like she was supposed to. I just want to go on record saying that. Do you have anything to add?
Well, I find that a woman's orgasm or maybe her being fulfilled, I've been to different psychiatrists, psychologists, friends, rabbis, priests, just different people who could give me an outlook. And they told me, when someone's not happy, it's very hard for them to be fulfilled sexually. So my wife would tell me basically, we're going to have sex. It's going to be 10, 12 minutes. We'd wear a condom. And it was very asexual. And, funny that I should say it, but I'm not a porno star. So my wife wouldn't touch me, and she would tell me I'm, excuse my language, I'm not hard, I'm not have an erection, what's going on. But the truth is, we're not porno stars that we, get hard and fuck in 2 seconds. And it was really a very, very bad sexual experience for her and me. But she continued to do it. Approximately 2 years ago, she said we had a very bad sexual experience. It wasn't good for her. I haven't been getting her off. And she decided she's no longer going to touch me. What I failed to understand is that it was a literal, prognosis that she wasn't going to kiss me, she wasn't going to hug me. And it's funny, she sees the electrician. She tells the electrician, "I love you. You're the greatest. You come, my washing machine breaks, you hook it up." But me, her husband, I never got an "I love you." I never got "I forgive you." I never got "I'm sorry." I just got a complete shutdown. And my wife would be in the house and she'd be wearing her sweatpants, and I'd come home and, "What's wrong?" And she goes, "I don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't want to touch you. I don't want to know you." And it's funny because I saw the restraining order today, and we went to a civil. You get a restraining order, it's a criminal offense. It means you could be pulled off a plane as a person who has violence, and they take you to a separate area and they search you and whatnot. So I had the restraining order. My lawyer was able to turn it into a civil restraint where she agrees and I agree and no one admits guilt. But she put in there that literally she doesn't want me ever to call her again. If you want to know about the kids, send a text. If you want to know about this, send a text. If you want to know when you could come to the house, send an email. So you go from being in bed with this person and who's your number one support pillar in your life, and you turn around and you're like, "The mailman, please come at 11:30, send me a text before, and don't come before, come after." And it becomes totally, totally, totally clinical.
Willie, let me ask you a question. When you married her, did you have relations before you married her? Did you fuck her before you guys got married? And if so, were you required to text her?
Absolutely not. What happened was basically we had a very hot and heavy physical relationship. Till today, I look at my wife and everything stops. I'm here with my friend today, and I told him I want to go home and I want to see my wife drop the kids off because I like seeing her. It turns me on. But the truth is, I got to say that she's checked out of the marriage for 2 years, and I've been in the divorce mode for 2 months. She's 2 years ahead of me. Basically, she doesn't look at me, she doesn't like me. She basically told me if I would go and seek some sort of counseling, this and that. She wants a divorce. We're Jewish. She wants her get. And she wants to start dating other guys immediately. So I don't know if she has another guy or she doesn't have another guy, or maybe it's a lifestyle. She just wants to go out and be out there. But I'm at the bottom of the barrel as far as her interest in me.
Okay, but what I want to know is, were you at the bottom of the barrel when she spread her legs for you and when you had 4 children for her? Were you considered the bottom of the barrel then? And what was your financial status back then?
I don't think it's fair to blame my wife entirely for her financial status. She was interested in having a relationship with me. I was very busy with my businesses failing and maybe marijuana smoking and maybe neglecting my children and neglecting my wife. I went to the rabbi in the synagogue and he said, I should speak that out to people that I did neglect my wife and I did neglect my children. And it lent itself to my wife not respecting me.
Okay, so paying attention to your wife and children, yes, they're a part of marriage. They're a part of what's required. But what I want to know, does that justify making, let's say, erroneous, fake, false charges about being violent and, domestic violence and aggression and things like that? Unless you were, but I really doubt that you were. Do you want to explain that?
My wife went to a company, they were attorneys, and basically there is methods and, procedure to how to make the husband look bad, how to make the husband pay more, how to make the husband not have custody. So I don't believe my wife had ill intentions at the beginning, but I think that once the love is gone and there is a playbook how to, get the husband out of the house, give up his assets, give up his life, that, that becomes the playbook.
Yes, there is a playbook on how to make the husband look bad. And I had a similar experience. I told everybody before on one of my videos that I married an illegal alien, and she was told to go to the abused shelters, and that's what the females do. They're run by feminists. So when the female wants to screw over the husband, all she has to do is go to one of these feminist-run abusive shelters, and they use certain words in their documentation that make the husband look really bad, and then the husband gets a restraining order put on him very easily. It's sad.
Being that I have a computer and I have access to information, I looked up, and basically under Bill Clinton, the President of the United States, he made an effort to protect the women who are being battered. And I respect that. But the problem is that the women who aren't being battered get advised by their attorney. And let me give you an example. I agreed to have a separation from my wife as far as living in the house as a break from possible reconciliation. I moved out of my house. I actually moved to my mother-in-law. And after a couple of weeks, my wife said she doesn't want any reconciliation. So I said, I want to go home. I didn't sign up to live by my mother-in-law. I want to see my children in the morning, afternoon, and night. I'm losing my house. I'd like to be in my house as long as possible. And when I went home, believe it or not, the rabbi of the synagogue was called, and another person was called who's my coach, say, for psychological problems I'm having. And then the mediator was called, and they asked me to sign some sort of document that I wouldn't be in the house any longer. So I said that was to give me space to allow me to possibly reconcile with my wife, give her space, give me space. But now that there's no reconciliation, allow me to sleep in the housekeeper's room, which is set off from the kitchen, and I won't have any problem with her. I went upstairs to my wife's room, which is a shared bedroom of mine and hers. I got a pair of sweatpants, and I told my wife I want to give my children a kiss goodnight. I have 4 children. I want to enter their rooms. I want to give them a kiss goodnight. My wife immediately put her hands on me and told me I have a 7-year-old. He was approximately 12 feet from me. He was sleeping in our bedroom. And I said, let me just give him a kiss. She said, no, you can't give him a kiss. I said, okay, I don't want any trouble. I'm going to go downstairs. My wife turned around and says, no, it's too late. I texted someone, and he called the police already. The police came. They said, you have a document that you were going to live outside of your house. I said, no, that was only for reconciliation. But now that I'm getting divorced, I want to sleep here as often as possible. I went to sleep approximately 11:45. At approximately 12:30, 3 police officers from the city I lived in came, told me my wife went to a battered shelter. I said, what'd she go to a battered shelter? I only told her I don't want her to, give me access to the children, that I could give the kid a kiss on the cheek.